Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. Jimmy Failla and I last spoke before the wildfires sparked up, and what a poop show, Jim. Trying to really censor myself right
Yeah,
now.
you are. But the important thing is local leadership's doing a fantastic
Oh my
job.
God!
Are they
Is
ever?
there an amendment where we can get Karen Bass to stay in power forever?
I
Because she's
mean,
just so good. And it's like I'm talking to all my neighbors who can't even stand in the smoldering rubble of their own homes because they're not being allowed back into the neighborhood. But I just think of them and the unspeakable, unfathomable, untallyable tragedy. And dumb actresses going, people are just mad at Karen Bass because she's black.
I'm like,
And
yeah.
it's like, no, people are mad at Karen Bass because she's a moron who let a really nice part of the city burn to the ground.
Yeah, this is whenever somebody makes that idiotic reductive argument.
Yes.
What's so fascinating to me is they say it as if there is a race or a gender we'd accept this from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah. No, Gavin Newsom actually
Yeah.
catching a lot of crap right now. Last I checked, heterosexual with a white privileged penis.
Yeah, a very white privileged penis, from
Yes.
what I've been told. White as can be, according to some of these texts in my phone. I kid. But that's the point, is there's a real substance issue this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the superficial thing isn't going to work. Because if you've been watching Newsom over the weekend, he was on Meet the Press yesterday, he's trying to Trump his way out.
Yes.
You know, Trump's
That's,
rhetoric.
okay,
yeah.
that, by the way, that's so 2016. That's
Yes,
so
that's what I
2020.
mean. It don't work no more.
It doesn't work. And by the way, like, if you think people are dumb enough to revert to that playbook, you belong nowhere near power.
Yes.
And you realize how much power is concentrated in the state of California and how awful, power-hungry, corrupt people like him and Karen Bass belong nowhere near positions of leadership.
Ever again. Like, I don't know that he gets recalled, but if there was ever going to be an opening in this lifetime for a Republican governor to come in, like, this is the moment.
No, and luckily, Steve Hilton, whom we worked with for years, he had a press conference today really outlining the next practical steps, because it is going to be private leaders of industry who are going to have to run the state
Was
like a
that
business.
noted white supremacist climate denier, Steve? As he'll be called an hour from now?
Yeah.
Steve Hill, the nicest guy you'll ever
Yeah.
meet in your life. A guy who
A
genuinely
guy who
cares.
loves California,
Yes.
loves the state of California, has been doing so much outreach, talking to families and small business owners, trying to figure out what has gone wrong in the state. You know, it's like reading about policy decisions that have gone awry and trying to figure out, like, what do you actually do to make things better? Because, you know, right now, what people are going through in the Palisades, I called insurance today and I was like, you know, I'm just trying to get a claim number, and they didn't say, okay, here's how we're going to help you. Here are your next steps. They literally said, have you tried the Red Cross? And then the next sentence was, here is the number of a shelter not far from you. And it's like, so you're totally insensitive.
Yeah.
Your company is obviously overwhelmed
Yep.
to the point of paralysis, and they haven't even properly trained you how to be sensitive or empathetic. And this is what you're going to. So
Yeah, but Trump.
yeah,
I mean,
it's when Trump's talking about the Delta smelt, that's what caused these wildfires. It wasn't the gross mismanagement of the state from stem to stern. It's that Donald Trump is literally Hitler, and that's why
January 6th.
the state is burning.
I
Yeah.
mean, this none of this happens
Is
without
it any
January 6th.
coincidence that these wildfires started on January 7th?
Think about that.
I think not.
Amen. What drives me so crazy is two things I want to highlight here. Okay. One is, yes, Newsom is a sociopath. And there is a moment on Meet the Press yesterday where within an actual sentence, he changed his take on the reservoirs. He goes, well, you know, now's no time for Donald Trump's misinformation. All the reservoirs here in Southern California were full. And the reporter goes,
Yeah, it was like Josh Sobroff was like, sir, but what about the Santa Ynez reservoir that was empty?
And he goes, exactly. That's why I'm ordering an investigation. So you started with it's full.
But that is sociopathic.
And it's a sociopath.
Yes.
In real time. It started with they're all full.
Yeah.
No, exactly. They're not full. That's why I'm launching an investigation.
Yes.
But he's just trying to pass the buck.
Yeah, so he's going through the talking points that he helps author, and it's like, people I know and it's a very fluid, emotionally fluid situation because you go like I spent most of the day Friday crying because on Thursday on the 5, Jonathan Hunt, who is a godsend, and I owe him everything. He went to my house and got my grandfather's sword, my grandmother's cross, and 2 baby pictures that are not in any digital form, and things that would have plagued me until my last day on earth, and he was able to retrieve them out of just kindness, putting his own safety aside. He was standing in front of Methodist preschool, and he was like, I'm standing in front of Methodist church and Methodist preschool. It is burned to the ground. That was the first time I saw that because I was trying to go through with neighbors and sort of categorize and figure out what exactly has burned. That was the first time I saw that the beloved preschool where my daughter spent, 5 years in total was gone. And so I spent Friday like trying to process what people close to me have lost. And it's so painful hearing from every single person. We ran out of the house either because the flames got so close so quickly that we were almost overwhelmed by smoke and almost couldn't get out, to, well, we've been through this so many times, so we just thought we would be back tomorrow. And they lost everything. And going through this in real time with people that I know and love, my best friends who've lost their homes and lost everything, now multiply that by 15,000 and 15,000 families who are going through and kicking themselves, even though, you try and reassure them and go, it's okay. You have each other. And thank God that everyone I know made it out.
Yep.
But you still it is the sentimental, irreplaceable things that you don't realize in a crisis moment until you get out. And then you spend all of the other moments punishing yourself for not going back in and retrieving those.
But you did everything. I mean, everything you could. I appreciate you neglecting to mention what else you had Jonathan Hunt get out of the house, because I don't know that you could say what was in that box. But as someone who's been to the house,
I mean, I would say Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. If he knew what was in the box, he would have.
That video footage. I mean, wow! I kid, but no.
He was able to find Diddy's crates of baby oil, which I thought was very giving of Jonathan Hunt.
It was the right thing for Hunt to do.
Very conscientious.
And you wouldn't think he would, given how many of those parties he attended over there. We kid Jonathan Hunt, we love you, and we're
Old
being
freak
silly.
off Hunt? Yeah.
We laugh at it as a coping mechanism.
No, but what a lovely person he and his producer. So
no, they're amazing.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
And listen, we are all rooting so hard for California. I know you know that. And, it's one of those moments where the political differences obviously take a back seat, but there is a lot of frustration to people who aren't directly affected by it. We have the luxury of reacting politically to this because we're not sifting through the insanity of what you're dealing with.
I am also an unaffiliated voter in California. I'm not affiliated with any party in California.
Do you know what I feel bad for in California as someone who spent a good amount of time there, like visiting you and hanging out? That state in a lot of ways, they've kind of hijacked empathy because there's a lot of really good people, liberal people, good people who care about the homeless problem, care about the environment, okay, and have voted for what they thought would help it, but in the process, their empathy was hijacked by a one-party system for all intents and purposes that expanded the size of government and reinforced and codified a lot of those bad ideas to the point that it might have hindered their ability to fight back against this fire. And no one deserves this just because they voted for it, and that's where I hate the...
I agree with you completely because, people have been told, no, you want to pass this ballot measure because it's going to help the homeless.
Yeah.
It will reduce the number of homeless people. $12 billion later, so Governor Newsom, how has this helped homeless people? We didn't exactly categorize that. And then he tries to blame, I got to yell at my categorization team because they were giving me some bad intel. Yeah. And that's what he's doing with,
of course.
He's like, well, with his fire, I was giving bad information. It's not me.
Yeah,
I was doing everything. And it's like, no CEO in the world would be like, oh, yeah, we're in the raid. We're completely underwater. Well, I'm going to have to yell at some of my account managers. By gum. It's like, you better be taking inventory.
I think what we're trying to say is Hilton 2026. Steve-O, if you're out there. No, we don't know. We have no idea. But the point is, yes.
I would love someone like that to come forward. My ideal would be someone like Steve Hilton and then Rick Caruso run for mayor in Los Angeles in 2026. Karen Bass is so bad, and this So she has risen through the ranks of the California legislature. She was a congresswoman. She was on Biden's short list
to be VP.
Exactly. So this is her participation trophy. She doesn't care about it. She just wants to stay in power. She's not an executive. Like, legislators and executives, two completely different categories. And she's doing really bad at her job. So let me ask you this. So how can you lock down Pacific Palisades with National Guard, Cal Fire, LAFD, LAPD, so no one can get in without police escort, but no one was there Tuesday night?
Yeah.
No one. No fire trucks, no water, nothing. Like, where was the National Guard? And you can mobilize them in an instant if you are the mayor, if you are the governor.
If you're there and you declare an emergency.
Yes.
But she wasn't there to do that.
She was not there. She was not reachable.
The emergency was they were out of drinks at the swim-up bar.
Yeah.
And she had to get on a plane and come home.
You're facing 100-mile-an-hour winds, which never happens in the Santa Anas. And it's like you get one spark. It's a conflagration. She knows that. So she had all of the intel and the opportunity to go, you know what? If she cared about her city, she would have gone, she would have taken everything in, gone, you know what? I can't, it pains me. I know I owe this to Biden, but he didn't pick me as VP, so I'm going to stay home and not go to Ghana. And she promised not to go on these international trips when she was running for mayor.
Think about that. So they're going to basically blame this all on non-refundable airfare. They're going to be like, if the airfare was refundable.
Yeah, well, neither is military transport back home. That's also very costly.
Thank you. Just dirt bags all around. They are failing their state, but the country isn't gonna, and we're going to be back.
Yeah, and, it's like Altadena, Pacific Palisades, awesome parts of Los Angeles. The rebuild will be slow, it will be painful, and it will be an emotional odyssey given just the last 6 days. But I truly believe in these neighborhoods. I believe in the people who've grown up there. And I know if the state and the local leadership doesn't completely screw it up, through sheer force of will, they will find a way.
Yeah, they will.
It's going to be a difficult way, but I believe in these places, and I believe, having lived in the Palisades for 23 years, that they will find a way and they will do it.
Damn right they will.
That's right.
That's all I got to say. I'm your hype man. I'm just going to flavor you from here, Chuck D.
We got to get to 250 back in the Palisades.
It's going to happen. No, it's going to happen.
We got to.
We're going to be there.
Yes.
Lincoln's been assured. I've already told Lincoln. It's fine. He's got his fake ID. He's ready to go. We'll be there.
His little black mustache.
Yeah, McLovin.
McLovin Failla. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. We got your back along with Jimmy Failla. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.